Good day, everybody, welcome to today's video. This is Jerry from BackCountry Wrenching. In today's video, right behind me is my 2014 Wrangler JKU 3.6. And I've been dealing with startup rattle since I bought it, a few years. And today, I'm going to end the startup rattle for good. Eventually, sooner than later, I'm probably going to have to do a complete timing set. But right now, this should hopefully buy me time. Shut her down. Got nasty cold. I'm not going to lie to you. It is pretty expensive, and it's supposed to cure the startup rattle. However, there's a way around it if you're worried about startup rattle and you don't have the money to buy one. What you got to do is jump inside your Jeep, put your foot on the brake, hold your gas to the floor, and crank it over. Your engine will crank over without starting, and that will allow the oil to build back up into the oil filter section, and that way when you go to start it, you won't have a dry start. I'd let it crank over for a few seconds at least. I've done that and I haven't had an issue with a dry startup. You know, most people have this startup rattle after it's been sitting for a while, been sitting overnight. Let's get this thing installed and see if it's going to cure my problem. I know when this first came out, a lot of the viewers had sent me some info on this, and at first I wasn't going to do it. I was still leaning towards doing a V8 swap in this Jeep, but I think I'm kind of done with that. Won't be doing V8 swap at all. Here's all my parts. The sticker. This is the bad boy right here. Is it going to be worth the 500 Canadian I spent? We're going to find out. Basically, we're going to thread this in, make sure that's all lined, because when you tighten it in, you tighten that set screw with a bolt right there and it locks these threads in place. That way it doesn't turn out when you're removing the filter. But you got to set it up dry first without O-rings, because you need to determine what ports you need to block and which one you got to put that 90 in. Because as you see right there, real estate is a premium. And you put that 90 on, you're not going to be able to spin it in place. Yeah, doing the timing job on this, I don't think it's going to be any easy task, but we are going to eliminate that filter right there, so we have no more dry startups. Got the good old Power Fist platform to stand on, because Jeep's getting too tall and I'm too short to reach on over. But our first step is we're gonna pull that old filter out. So what I got is my trusty 24 mil. We're gonna spin this oil cap out nice and carefully. And hopefully there's no surprises when we pull it out and the oil filter's stuck inside. This is another reason why I wanted to change it. The last couple times I've changed oil, this end piece, it has been broken, and it looks like the filter is twisted in the housing, and that does concern me greatly. I don't know if you could hear it, but that wind is just a howling out there. Temperature is dropping fast. Crazy weather. Supposed to get 20-degree change in weather in a few hours. Make sure those are aligned. Focus, focus, focus. And we're good. Now, lubricate the face seal in the docking collar body, and tip O-rings will be installed later. Install the adapter till it bottoms out. Then back out less than 180 degrees to expose an MPT port. And that's going to be where the 90 goes. and then the other one's gonna get plugged. Some oil on my finger. Let's put it on this. Come on, why don't you? Oh, there we go. I was like, why don't you want to thread in? So we're gonna thread it in. Till it stops. So I backed out till it stops. One MPT port right there, one right there. None that we can get that elbow on it. So it says back out up to 180 degrees. So in order for me to utilize that 90, I'm gonna have to be probably right about there to make that 90 work. And of course, the one on the other side there will get blocked. I just want to point out too, if you are doing this job, it's a good time to have a peek down in the gallery to make sure that your oil cooler isn't leaking. I replaced mine with aluminum one a while ago, so far it's still good. So my tip O-ring's in that cap, but I know my plug is going to go in this one, and in the kit it's right here. I'm going to add some pipe dope to put on this plug so it doesn't decide to leak on me, but it is what it is. Alright, putting all of our O-rings in place. O-ring on the tip is, make sure the face O-ring is still good. Got the O-ring in here, but it fits inside here. And according to the instructions, it's got to go all the way to the back. So we're going to lubricate this with oil now. Lubricate everything up. Because if you put it in dry, could deform the O-ring. Okay, this is where the fun begins. So we're going to put this in, and this time we use a 1-inch to bottom it out. And this time it went farther than before. So it went a little further. I don't know if you can see. My plug's right there, my hole's right there. I gotta come right about here. Okay, I'm gonna back this up to the position where I think it's gonna be fine, right there. So remember I talked about we have to make sure the threads were aligned. That's attached to this bolt. And now when I tighten this, it's gonna tighten up on those threads, preventing this from moving. So now, move that hose out of the way gently, tighten this down. Okay, we're tight. So this is where the fun is. You can see my hole. And I got my 90. I need to get that in there. And we all know how I have butterfingers. So this should be Interesting. Try to get this started. Okay, I'm getting it started. And I have enough clearance. Shit. I gatekeeped. I have to go a little bit tighter or loosen that off. And then I have to bring it around. Okay. Back that off here. Maybe bring it a little bit tighter so I could clear that. And then tighten it back down. Tightening that up is going to be pretty tight. But they said you could use a 15/16 wrench, which is true. Problem is, I don't have a lot of room anymore that I can work with. Oh no, I'm good. I can get her. I can get her. Need to install the Schrader valve now. Doesn't mention anything in the instructions about after you got it on, about turning it back. Because I could actually tighten it up some more, but right now I am just gonna leave it right where it's at. I'm just gonna tighten this down so that I'll be good. And this is kind of like your bleed off valve, 30 seconds for our 30 psi, less 30 psi for like 3 seconds with your oil cap open, drain plug out. That way you can, here's my oil cap right there, that way you can blow the oil out without pressurizing up the engine block. Gives you the filters right there, and then you can cross-reference it to whatever filter you want to use if you don't like the ones that are chosen. I went with the Wix XP, designed for synthetic oils. And gonna lubricate the face and then put her on. And this will be the moment of truth. So if I put this on, make sure you got all your O-rings in place. Make sure you got the one on the tip, the one on the face, the one at the very end, the big one. Valves in, plugs in, we're locked in. Lubricate at the face of the oil filter. And now we're going to screw the filter in place. There we go. I didn't think it was threading on there for a minute. It seemed to keep on going forever. Hand tight the filter. All right. So this hose kind of rides on there a little bit. That is what it is. All right, we're installed. This is going to be the moment of truth. We're going to fire it up. I'm almost ready to start it up. That's a fairly large filter, and we don't want to dry start it. Remember that trick I told you earlier? I'm going to jump in the Jeep, foot on the brake, pedal to the floor with the gas, and turn it over, and it's going to crank over without starting. This is going to allow me to prime the system before we fire it up. Before I do anything, I want to boot it up and change screens, because that'll give me my oil pressure. All right, turn the key off. Foot on the brake, pin the gas. check for some leaks. Does it look like we got any oil leaks? Looks all right. Let's hit the garage door. We'll let the Arctic wind in. That temperature is dropping fast. Moment of truth. Oil pressure's looking good. Gotta go back to the menu I was in. I like that screen. Otherwise, like your road mode default one is this one, which is cool too. Turn it off, restart. Seem to be getting some sort of leak. Filter rubber looks good. Face looks good. Why am I leaking? You see that? There's a small hairline crack in that filter housing. Damn it. Actually, when you look at it too, it seems like it's all distorted. Alright, just leaving auto value. It's a new filter. I looked it over beforehand, so it should be good. From Princess Auto, I got the stepping stool to get in and out of my Jeep. It's on sale. And these toe straps, well, the big one is rated for braking capacity is 20,000 pounds. The small one, 10,000. But love that color green. And some shop towels. Then leaving Princess Auto, I have to deal with this idiot that can't drive. Gold pickup truck. I'm turning into the turning lane. This clown just keeps on coming. Lay on the horn. Then he decides to completely go all the way over. Like, why don't you pick the right lane in the first place instead of being a stupid idiot? This is what I got from Cabela's. Been looking at this axe for a while. This is the Gerber Bushcraft axe. I'm going to take with me in the wilderness. I don't know if it will replace my Fisker splitting axe. It's got some funky relief in the head there, so be looking forward to getting it out in the woods, trying it out. Nice sheath that goes over top, uses a hammer, and it also has a slide out piece at the end, which stores some treasure, I guess. Some paracord right there. I also picked up this pouch for bear bangers. I picked up some bear bangers, pen style, and some refillable cartridges as well to take with me in the bush. Just gonna let that run for a bit. Let's see. So far, it's looking legit. With no leaks. So far, so good. I need to take it for a drive and then ensure that there's no more leaks. That could have been catastrophic. Oil leak like that didn't happen at first, but happened after a couple of minutes. Could have destroyed this engine in a matter of miles. Glad I caught that. Hopefully no more issues. Alright, motherfucking beer time. Got a good old crusty Pilsner. And another project well done on the Jeep. However, I just found another issue. It appears that my rad hose is leaking on the bottom. And I've been meaning to change out the rad hoses, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it camping this next set of days off. Unfortunately, need to take care of that. But anyways, let's crack open this motherfucking beer. And it'll give me more time to test that oil filter adapter to make sure that there's no leaks. Because I'm a little paranoid now after that one had a small hairline crack, because it didn't really leak at first. Actually didn't leak at all, and it ran for a while, and then I stopped it, and then I restarted it, let it run for a while again. Then I noticed oil on the oil filter housing, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? So then I drained the oil, popped off the cap, everything looked fine, put it back on, and it was like the orientation I had it, and maybe whatever happened, whatever, started pissing out. Anyways, cheers. Gonna replace both rad hoses, and gonna give me an opportunity to re-inspect some of those pulley bearings, because I greased them a couple years ago. See how they're holding up. If not, I got a couple new bearings. Anyway, shut her down. The struggles never end. I'll take care, everybody. Yeah, motherfucking beer time. Yeah.